In honor of Mark Jackson, I put together a nice Warriors lineup. Unfortunately, in the NBA, when teams are losing, the blame has to be placed on somebody, and it's almost always the coach. It's funny because remember George Karl for the Denver Nuggets? He won Coach of the Year, and then he got fired. And then the GM of the team won GM of the Year, and they got rid of him too. Don't these teams just realize that their players are not good enough to get it done? It doesn't matter. The coach matters, but a coach can't turn a team that isn't a championship team into a championship team. It's just not going to happen. If Mark Jackson was the coach of the Miami Heat the last 3 seasons, the Heat still would have won a championship. They're winning because they have LeBron James, they got Dwayne Wade, Bosh, they got good role players. They're not winning because of Eric Spoelstra. If you put Eric Spoelstra on the Golden State Warriors, the Warriors still would have lost that series to the Clippers. There's just no way. I mean, the Clippers were the better team, and the Warriors still took it to 7 games, and they still even had a few opportunities to win that series. But if it doesn't happen, you can't blame the coach. That's a new move. I think the only time a coach should get fired is if he loses control of the locker room. If the players don't respect him, they don't want to follow his philosophy, they don't believe that he can get them to win by playing a certain style, I think that's the only time you get rid of a coach. If that doesn't happen, why not keep the coach around? Because in this situation, a lot of the players, they're sticking up for Mark Jackson. They believe in him, they believe in his philosophy, they improved. And it just doesn't make sense because even if you look at the Miami Heat, when they first started, their first season, at the start of the season, they weren't doing very good. They were losing a lot of games. But Pat Riley didn't get rid of Eric Spoelstra. He kept them around. They got it together, and they even lost in the finals. It was embarrassing. LeBron James only scored 8 points in one of the games. I mean, was that Eric Spoelstra's fault? They couldn't get it done. The Mavericks were too good. They outplayed them, and they lost. And even this season with the Nets, they started off terrible with Jason Kidd. It didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs, but then they started putting the wins together. Now they're here. They're playing the Heat in the second round. Coaches do matter, though. The role of the coach is kind of like my team mode in 2K14. I'm a coach. Basically, the way I'm controlling my team, I'm the coach. I'm saying who gets to start, who comes in off the bench. What positions are everybody playing? Are we playing small ball? Are we playing big? Are we going to fast break? Are we going to play up tempo? Are we going to post? Are we going to slash? We're going to use screens. What is our defensive scheme? Are we going to be playing a 1-3-1 zone? If you were to give my team to somebody else, they'd control them in a totally different way. But at the end of the day, the players are exactly the same. I can't make these players turn into other players. I can't turn Steph Curry into Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter how good I am on the sticks, how good I am with the game plan, I can't make that happen. And neither can coaches in the NBA. That's why it's so silly when every year there's so many coaching moves, yet you don't really see the teams that are switching all these coaches, you don't really see improvements. When the Lakers had Mike Brown and when they switched to Mike D'Antoni, the team still had the same outcome. They didn't get magically better. When the Knicks had Mike D'Antoni and then he left and then they had Mike Woodson, guess what? The Knicks are still in the same boat. The coach isn't going to make those players any better. If you want a better team, Golden State, or any team in the league, you need to trade. You need to get those better players on the team. You can't be disappointed in such a great season that they had. Yeah, they lost in the first round, but they played the Clippers. They got CP3, the best point guard in the game. You got Blake Griffin. You got DeAndre Jordan. Jamal Crawford's off the bench. Collison's off the bench. I think Mark Jackson did a good job, especially with all the injuries. He basically had no center, and he still took that to 7 games.